Good morning, Vegas vegans. Um, Once again, I'm so glad for you to watch and come and check us out. This is a whole nother thing, and then when we wanted to be from our reviews, excuse me, our predictions, our table talk. This is something that's much more personal to us.
Absolutely.
And you may not decide to join in yet, but at some point or another, you're going to join in. Believe it or not, it's going to be a change that's going to come over you, and you're going to want to do something and be for real about it.
Absolutely. It's a great change. It's a great way to start your life back on the right path.
And you'll be surprised that if you change your eating seriously, how everything else will begin to change as well.
Absolutely.
Everything in your life. What are we talking about today?
Today, we want to talk about eating and emotions today. Also, eating enabling. We want to talk about eating and emotions because they go hand in hand. We can speak for ourselves and say that in terms of our emotions and eating, if we get worked up by something, then it's not very positive. We're not going to eat. We get nauseous. I don't want to eat anything.
Like today, for example, I had some little snafus going on with the post office, and Tori was kind enough to put a breakfast together for herself and I. And I was just like, oh, I can't eat that at all. There was nothing wrong with this, perfectly fine. It's the exact thing I would have eaten at any other morning. It was some oatmeal and fruit. That's all. Something actually very light, or relatively light. And I could not pick that spoon up to put it in my mouth. I felt upset from the issue that was going on with the post office, and that was spiraling into everything goes wrong, and I'm so mad, and for me at that point I couldn't eat a thing.
Right.
And we might be even an exception in that, but it seems to me that more people become emotionally upset, and they tend to eat to fill up that hurt or that depression or that loneliness with food. And automatically, when you start doing that, the first thing you want to grab is the cookies. Not just one cookie, but the bag of cookies, right? And then you're going to just continue to stuff yourself because you're trying to fill up a black, empty hole of hurt or anger, depression, loneliness, sadness, and it never gets filled.
Nope.
The thing is, though, it's wonderful to have emotions, all emotions, and even anger, because anger is that magic fire that sets us on the road to do something different. We see that this didn't work, or it didn't work out, or didn't go the way we wanted to. We're angry about it. That's supposed to inspire you, to push you to say, let me try this a different way, or let me get some help, or this isn't for me. The emotions are not supposed to stick with you, are they?
No, you're just supposed to feel them and let them go.
Right. You're supposed to let it go. It doesn't take food to see you through, or the lack of food to see you through. Food seems to be a real emotional trigger that sends us on down one path or another. But at the end of the day, when you're feeling some kind of way, it's for you to take a time to yourself and to feel those feelings and decide what it is that's at the root of this, and what could you have done differently. It's often easy, along with eating, to blame others.
Right.
But really, in this universe as a whole, everything is about you and how you are going to deal with it. Because we tend to feel some kind of way and react, attack someone, go off on someone, cry, even go as far as being suicidal.
Right.
But our job is not to react. It's to respond.
Absolutely.
If someone came up to me and said, you look old and ugly, and I would simply say, okay, well, I don't think so. Next, where is it to go from there? That's somebody's opinion. That doesn't make them right. That goes from friend to parent to whatever. If you know that they tend to be a negative person, why are you dealing with them?
Right.
Why would you take yourself them personally? What do we talk about with the 4 agreements?
We always talk about, first and foremost, is to not make assumptions. Don't assume that somebody knows something. Don't assume you know something of a situation. Just leave the assumptions aside. Number 2, don't take anything personally. If you take something personally, breathe. Just take a moment and breathe. Calm yourself down. Listen to a tape or something like that. Because when you take something personally, it's a belief, and you believe in whatever it is that the person said or did or whatever. Number 3, do your personal best. Always know that you can do your best in whatever it is that you do, and just believe that. Like, okay, maybe the situation didn't go out the way it turned out or the way I wanted it to, but I did my best with it. And what's our number 4? Drawing a blank. Sorry, people.
Hold on, folks. Let me get my tablet.
Okay.
You can keep talking.
Yeah, I am drawing a blank here.
You're not seeing at the camera shoulder.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank. I keep saying it over and over to you all. I'm trying to keep the void filled. I'm so sorry, people.
Okay, so like she said, don't take anything personally. Don't make assumptions. Be impeccable with your word. And always do your best. And I think when we know and work on those 4 agreements, I think it makes a lot of things easier in life. One of the things that we all do is take things personally. We go to the store, the clerk is dry or rude. We think it's something that she's trying to do to us.
Mm-hmm.
The person on the phone didn't return our call. It's something about us. We're taking it personally. When we meet people, we assume something about them right from the jump. We look at the way they're dressed and we automatically assume this or that about them.
Mm-hmm.
We don't even try to get to know them. Be impeccable with your word. You have to say it and do it and mean it. If you can't do it, then don't say you can't.
Right.
But be impeccable with your word. That's the way people can begin to trust in you. And they know you are dependable and reliable.
Mm-hmm.
And always do your best. Don't do anything less than your best. None of us are perfect, but give your 100%. But when it comes to 4 agreements, don't do that just with other people or situations. Do it with yourself.
Absolutely.
Do it with yourself. If you say you're going to do something like work out today, work out today.
Yeah.
If you look in the mirror and judge your thighs are too big, you're taking yourself personally, right?
Yeah.
When you do your best, if you're going to say I'm going to do 2 miles on the treadmill, but you get just exhausted and can't make it after a mile and a half, it's okay.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's another day, right? I think that when it comes to eating and emotions, I think we've got to strive to wrap our mind around that.
Absolutely.
Now, you mentioned eating enabling. What do you mean by that?
Eating enabling meaning that, let's say you're in a relationship with somebody and they're a little bit heavier than you. Or maybe you guys are the same size, but they have an appetite level that's higher than yours. You would enable them by trying to eat the same things they eat, or eat as much as them, or switch your diet for their diet, and you're enabling them.
Or even continually cooking the things that they like because they like them, or they might get mad, or whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're enabling someone, you're really not only hurting them, but you're hurting you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you go into a relationship, somebody's overweight, you really care for them. If you did really care for them, that would be the time to say that, well, this is really how I am.
Mm-hmm.
And be honest about who you are and the way you eat. You don't join into the eating or the drinking they're doing when you know that that's not good for you. Just to have somebody?
Mm-hmm.
No, because then all you're trying to do is to get that person to be overly dependent on you.
Mm-hmm.
And so they won't go off to anybody else or what have you.
Right.
That's not even good for yourself. That's not fair for you. You're cutting yourself out of the quality of life that you're accustomed to.
Mm-hmm.
to enable this person. We can't fix other people, can we?
No, we cannot. That's it seems like it's a hard concept for many people that we cannot change other people into what we want them to be.
Mm-hmm.
Change is a personal thing.
Right, because you might want that overeater to not creep at night when you go to sleep, to go in the refrigerator.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to be able to stop them.
No.
You're not going to be able to monitor everything they eat at the house. How do you know they didn't stop at the drive-in, or get a quarter pounder with cheese or something, gobble it up before they came in?
Mm-hmm.
Each person has to take responsibility for themselves and decide that this is the way that I want to be, or this is the way that I want to work out.
Mm-hmm.
And without that person is never going to stick to it. It's like, they are used to breathing down here, and your expectations they're going to breathe up there.
Mm-hmm.
No, they're going to come up for a little bit, but guess what?
They'll go back down.
Right, because that wasn't their decision. And guess where you're going to go?
Down with them.
Right down there, too. Exactly. So we ended up watching a show last night, a weight loss show, just out of curiosity. We like to watch those.
Yeah.
And there was a couple, and the lady was a true enabler individual.
Mm-hmm.
And she's with this guy that was almost 500 pounds. And she went from being slim to now herself well over 200 pounds.
Yeah.
Simply by cooking and eating the things that he wanted to cook and eat. By nonstop eating and eating, even when they weren't hungry.
Mm-hmm.
And she was enabling him. Oh, I got something in my throat. Mill, bring my water. Yeah. Sorry, guys.
Mm-hmm.
This is really important to me, but that's not a cry. I got some food stuck in my throat. That's better. We do that all the time, whether we do it with the adults or we do it with our children.
Absolutely. We feed them. We try to feed them by, we love them by feeding them.
Oh, girl, yes, we do. And then we turn around and they've had their breakfast, their lunch, and now they want a snack, and you're thinking apple, and they're thinking, 4 of those cookies or 2 of those brownies that you made.
Mm-hmm.
It should not have been any cookies or brownies in the house.
Mm-hmm.
We can love our children, or we can love our children to death.
Mm-hmm.
And when you love them to death, you are filling them up with toxins of too much meat,
mm-hmm.
or too much sweets, or too much juice and soda, when they don't need that. Their body doesn't crave that. They have to learn that.
Yeah.
And that's what we're teaching them. We give them that little apple juice in that juice bottle when they're a baby and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
We enable our kids all the time, and then we wonder what's wrong with them, or how come, they're constantly begging me for those chips or the soda or whatever, because you allowed it.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking that you were being nice, or they deserved it, or they got a good grade or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, you know what? Kids are so much more simpler than we try to make them out to be.
Absolutely.
What they really want is that direct attention. They only want it for a small time.
Mm-hmm.
Because once they tell you what happened at school, or the talent show, or some great thing they saw on television, you give them 5 minutes, they're done.
Yeah, they're good.
They're not trying to be there all night. They like to go ahead and get into their own things.
Mm-hmm.
So let's stop feeling guilty and enabling children, or being in an enabling relationship, or accepting somebody else's enabling when you know
Absolutely.
they're doing it. A parent, a boyfriend, a lady friend, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Let's, like Toriana said, let's have those emotions. That's part of who we are.
Mm-hmm.
That's the great part of who we are. We get to feel things and analyze things.
Yeah.
Things that most animals in the universe don't have.
Right.
And we have that great ability to feel, but we don't have to have them stuck here in our heart chakra, right?
No.
We can feel and release it and let it pass through us, and let that anger, if that's one of your emotions, inspire you to do something different.
Absolutely. Be the change that you want to see. So if you want to see a person in your life change, be the change. You be the inspiration.
You change.
Mm-hmm.
You change. And either they're going to follow along, or they're going to fall off. And that's just the way that it goes, because that's the way it was meant to be in the first place.
Absolutely.
But thank you guys so much for taking the time. If you like, subscribe. Thumbs up or comment, because you know what? We're going to keep it going. And I say this all the time. I don't care if we get 4 or 400. I think that our message, our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions that we express to you guys are worth you guys hearing it. It may not happen today that you listen, but one day you're going to need to hear it.
Absolutely.
God bless you guys.
See you.